The submarine, a highly concealed weapon in naval warfare, demonstrated its strategic value in the First World War. At that time, the British and French used airships to patrol and scout the movements of submarines at sea, and this tactic was also used in the Second World War, leading to the only direct battle between a submarine and an airship in history. The US K-type airship and the German U-134 submarine were the two combatants. U-134 belonged to the German-type WWII submarine, with a surface displacement of approximately 770 tons, 533mm torpedo tubes, a deck-mounted 88mm deck gun, and two 20mm anti-aircraft guns. This type of submarine was suitable for long-range operations and could directly threaten the west coast of the United States. The K-type airship was a non-rigid airship developed by the United States shortly before World War II. This airship was 76.7 meters long, filled with helium, with a payload of 3,500 kilograms. The crew typically consisted of 9 or 10 people. Equipped with maritime search radar, it had a 12.7mm M2 heavy machine gun for self-defense and could also carry 6 to 8 depth charges. On the night of July 18, 1943, the US K-74 airship was flying in the vicinity of Florida, with the mission of searching for U-boats and protecting freighters and tankers passing through the area. The visibility was very high that night, and at around 11 p.m., the airship spotted a submarine moving on the surface at a speed of 15 to 18 knots. Although K-74 spotted the submarine and circled it twice, estimating the displacement of the submarine to be over 700 tons, it could not confirm if it was the German U-boat, as the submarine's crew on deck did not react to the airship. They possibly did not notice the airship at night, and the submarine continued in the direction of the cargo ship. It was this deceptive operation of the submarine that led Lieutenant Nelson Grills, the airship commander, to make a bold and tactically unsound decision. He ordered the airship to approach the submarine and reassured his crew that if it was a U.S. submarine, the other side would not open fire. The airship only needed to fly past and send an identification signal. The tactical requirement was for the airship not to engage the submarine alone. Even though the submarine's anti-aircraft firepower was not as strong as that of a destroyer, it still had the advantage against an airship that had no armor protection, lacked speed, and was much larger in size. The role of the airship was to detect, track, and report the position of the submarine to friendly forces, forcing the enemy to repeatedly dive and flee, ultimately being chased or sunk by friendly destroyers or anti-submarine aircraft. In short, the dangerous task of dueling with submarines was left to destroyers or anti-submarine aircraft. K-74 made this fatal mistake and was met with the firepower of the German anti-aircraft guns. At 11:50 p.m., the airship descended to a height of 250 feet, approximately 76 meters, and approached the submarine. U-134 opened fire first, and K-74 fired back with the machine gun. It was evident that the submarine's machine gun had the advantage in this exchange of fire. The airship's envelope was punctured, the gondola was damaged, and as the distance closed, the airship lost its firing window for the machine gun. The commander ordered an attack with depth charges, but unfortunately, both attempts to release the bombs were unsuccessful, possibly due to damage to the relevant structure caused by the submarine's machine gun. The damaged airship lost control and began to climb, with the right engine catching fire. Despite the crew's efforts, they could not regain control of the airship. As helium leaked, the airship transitioned from climbing to descending. The crew began to throw things overboard to reduce weight and slow the descent. In the process, the radio operator sent out an urgent distress signal consisting of 16 three-letter messages, OFU, which was the distress signal of the airship squadron, meaning, urgent, hit by fire. K-74 eventually crashed into the sea. The crew tried to move away from the wreckage as much as possible, fearing that the depth charges would explode. After ensuring safety, they returned to the wreckage. Except for the commander, the crew split into two groups. One group of 5 gathered near the tail of the wreckage, while another group of 4 moved away from the wreckage, fearing capture by the U-boat. The commander was washed away by the waves and the wreckage was no longer visible. Due to a slight error in the telegram of the position sent earlier, the search and rescue operation was delayed. The next morning, the wreckage of the airship completely sank. The 5 crew members clinging to it faced the danger of sharks, and the bombardier was tragically dragged away by a shark. Fortunately, a seaplane spotted the crew, and the remaining 9 were all rescued. As for U-134, it was attacked by another patrol team on the 19th and suffered heavy damage. Due to fuel shortage, it planned to return to France, but was sunk by a British escort ship on the return journey.